I'm Van Beastie. The odds of getting a perfect IV Pokemon, as we call it a Hundo, from a raid is 1 in 216. The attack, defense, and stamina IVs range from 10 to 15, and the IVs are randomly generated. It's the equivalent of rolling 3 6-sided dice and getting all 6s. When I simulated 2 million players raiding until they got their first Hundo, completing 498 raids gives a 90% chance of encountering at least one Hundo. The simulation works by generating 3 numbers between 10 and 15, which represents our random IVs after a raid. Put this inside a loop where we can only exit when the attack, defense, and stamina IVs are all 15, the Hundo. When that eventually happens, the player will record how many raids it took them before leaving the loop, and then on to the next simulated player, all the way up to 2 million. And the results of our SimCDF, our simulated cumulative density function, shows that our 90% chance of encountering a Hundo is at 498 raids or less. Another way to look at the data is that there's a 10% chance a 1 in 10 players will take over 498 raids before encountering a Hundo. We can also look at the odds of going over 1,000 raids and not get a single Hundo. So CDF shows that there's a 99% chance of finding at least a single Hundo in 1,000 raids. So that also means there's a 1% chance that you'll raid over 1,000 times without seeing a Hundo. Let's take a look at the most unlucky accounts. The 100 most unlucky accounts out of the 2 million simulated players had to complete more than 2,150 raids to encounter their first Hundo, which means that there's a 1 in 20,000 chance, a 0.005% chance of players taking more than 2,150 raids to encounter their first Hundo, or they will go 2,150 raids until they encounter their next Hundo. On that note, let's take a look at the odds of how many raids are needed to get 2 Hundos. The same algorithm as before, as with 2 million simulated players, except the exit condition of the loop is when we get triple 15s for attack, defense, and stamina twice. So on average, completing 840 raids gives you a 90% chance of encountering at least 2 Hundos. The most unlucky 100 players of the 2 million player simulation took more than 2,677 raids to encounter their first 2 Hundos. Notice 2,676 raids to encounter the first 2 Hundos is nowhere near double the 2,150 raids to encounter 1 Hundo, because it's not very likely to go back-to-back instances where you roll the 1 in 20,000 chance twice in a row to go 2,000 raids to encounter 1 Hundo and another 2,000 raids to encounter a second Hundo. With that being said, the 1 in 20,000 chance it will take more than 2,600 raids to encounter 2 Hundos is not likely, but is definitely possible with enough players playing. Currently, I sit at 604 legendary raids completed, and I have only encountered 2 Hundo legendaries, a Palkia and a Terrakion. The results that the odds of encountering at least 2 Hundo legendaries after 604 raids is 76.89%. So that puts me on the slightly more unlucky side. Seems reasonable, but there's not enough information from 2 Hundos out of 604 raids to properly extrapolate the Hundo IV odds. I've been talking to another Pogo player who has done 3,314 legendary raids, and they've encountered only 10 perfect IV legendary Pokemon, Hundos with triple 15s. But they have also encountered 25 IV floor legendaries from raids, triple 10s, and they were curious how unlucky their account was and if their account was possibly weighted towards getting triple 10s. Because the odds of getting a Hundo is 1 in 216, the average number of Hundos you should have after doing 3,314 raids should be 15.34. So to take a look at the odds, I am going to simulate 100,000 players raiding 3,314 times, and for each player we are going to have a counter for both the IV floors, triple 10s, and perfect IVs, triple 15s. The player will exit the loop after raiding 3,314 times, recording how many triple 10s and triple 15s they encountered. Let's repeat 100,000 times. The resulting SimCDF with the threshold for perfect IVs is at 10 from our Pogo player. We can visually see that the relative position of luck, encountering only 10 Hundo legendaries from 3,314 raids, will put you in the bottom 10% of players who have done that many raids, So yes, encountering 10 hundos after 3,000 raids is below the average, but it is well within the expectation seeing how 1 out of 10 players will encounter 10 or less hundos after 3,314 raids. We do the same for the IV floor from raids, with the threshold marked at 25. Encountering 25 IV floor legendaries from 3,314 raids will put you in the top 1% of players, meaning that there is a 1% chance to see 25 IV floor Pokemon or more after doing 3,314 raids. And even though it's unlikely to encounter 25 IV floor legendaries from 3,000 raids, a 1% chance is still a somewhat reasonable result under the assumption that the IVs are pure RNG and not weighted to the IV floors over perfect IVs. But even with 3,314 raids, it is still not enough data to extrapolate or confirm the perfect IV odds. When simulating or recording data, you want at least 100 occurrences of the low probability events, in our case, the odds of getting triple 15s versus getting triple 10s. But with only 3,000 plus raids, I do not have enough data for low probability events to make that reasonable estimate. Though the player I was talking to sent me all their data on sets of triple IV combinations from legendary raids. They had 25 IV floor triple 10s, 20 triple 11s, 14 triple 12s, 12 triple 13s, 19 triple 14s, and 10 hundo triple 15s, which coincidentally adds up to exactly 100. So I could make a reasonable estimate on their odds of getting any set of triple IVs. The odds of getting any set of triple IVs is 6 in 216, which is equal to about 2.78%. And so getting 100 sets of triple IVs in 3,314 raids is about 3.02%, which is pretty close to the calculated average odds, but not quite exact, because we are using the minimum number of occurrences needed to make a reasonable estimate. It is very hard for a single player to rate enough by themselves to get enough data to make a reasonable estimate of their hundo odds. To simulate this, I am going to tweak the previous rating simulator to count and record every set of triple IV Pokemon, have that on loop until we get at least 100 of each set of triple IVs per player. There are going to be a lot of raids per player, so this sim will only use 50,000 players. And the sim ended up simulating a grand total of 1,220,086,841 raids in the final simulation. The average number of raids each simulated player had to complete to get at least 100 of each set of triple IVs was 24,401, with a standard deviation of 1,514 raids. So most players, 68.2% of you, will have to raid between 22,887 and 25,916 raids to get at least 100 of each set of triple IVs. And only then will you have enough data to make a reasonable data-based estimate for your odds of getting a hundo. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something today. I'm Van Beastie, and I'll see you around.